Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Hi, everybody, and welcome.
Hello,
And look
everybody.
yes, and look who I got with me today. I've got beautiful Tracy Ralph with me today. I'm so thrilled. Welcome,
Thank you,
Tracy.
Allie.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. It's good to be here. It's been a long
Oh,
time coming. Thank you for being so patient with me too,
oh,
because we
of
have
course.
scheduled before and
Yeah,
wasn't able to do it. So,
wasn't able to do it. That
mm.
happens, and I'm glad you reached out to me because
Oh
that's
yeah,
what I want people to do. If things go sideways or whatever, and we have to reschedule, it's always smart to just reach out because
just
I'm
just
certainly tolerant.
yeah. Well,
you
and
know.
I've been watching you for a while, and you give such good interviews that I knew that when I first started out with all of this, that I would want to go on there just
Oh,
so people could get a feel for me and I could get a feel for it all too. So,
sure.
hello,
Awesome.
Vivian.
Yes, and there's Chris
Chris.
MK.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
know.
put my
Yeah, I'm glad
spectacles
you're
on
here.
for this.
Yeah, yeah, you can see the people that are in the chat. That's awesome.
Hello,
So
everybody.
yeah. um, so yes, we did plan on it, and it had to be backed up. But I always say, divine timing is
Yeah,
perfectly correct.
yeah.
Whatever we're doing, whatever we're saying, it's the perfect time. So yes. So
I was,
uh,
I
Tracy
was,
lives in beautiful, beautiful Alberta, and that just makes me so happy. Hi, Kate.
hi, Kate.
Um, I haven't been to Alberta, but that's one of my destination plans at some point when I get the money and the time to do it. And I'm
Yeah,
sure if I do, I'll be knocking on your door and saying hello.
definitely got to do it in the summer months.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, because there's a lot of snow there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you don't want to be
Yeah.
going through mountain passes in the winter.
Uh-huh. Yes,
Yeah.
Chris is right. A face added to the name. There you go. Yes. And
And
that's always
I've always got so much to say in the chat. I'm sure people think,
we
good
love
Lord.
that. No, we love that. Not only do we love you guys in the chat welcoming each other and welcoming the guests and everything, but also bringing in what it is you're thinking and what you're feeling. So we
Right.
appreciate that a great deal. I
Oh,
want you to know that. You
thank
keep
you.
doing it, girl.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Sure thing. So let's talk a little bit about where you got started, Tracy, with your spirituality.
Well, let me, all my life, I don't ever remember not having, uh, I've had angel experiences and I've
Wow.
had lots of experiences with spirit. I get a lot of messages through dreams. I have, um, I've had a, without, I didn't come close to dying. Well, I've got apnea with my
Oh,
breathing. So that's the only thing I can think of why I had a near death experience
sure.
once.
And it can
But
happen. Yeah.
yeah, because that's the only thing I could explain must have happened because I wasn't in an accident. I hadn't hurt myself or anything like that. But
Uh-huh.
I did have the whole tunnel thing and going through. But I could see my body down on the bed and whatnot. But I didn't go, mine, a lot of people's goes much deeper than mine did. I didn't go right through. But I did have
Okay.
a second experience and it was sleeping again. So it must have been with the apnea. I don't
Mhm.
remember going through the tunnel or the light on that one, but what I do remember from that one is the life review. I
Okay.
actually had part of a life review. And the amazing thing about that was when you find out like people that were so that you don't even remember that you've come into contact with, like
Mhm.
absolutely everybody you've ever had anything to do with in your life will come through on that and how you've impacted them, either good or bad or negative way.
Yeah.
And if you've hurt their feelings or something like that, you feel it. Like
Oh,
it's not, you're being shown, moves really, really fast too. But when you're being shown it, you actually feel it and whatnot. So for me, that has always helped me to, I talk a lot about with different people and stuff, keeping my light clean. I'm
yeah.
really, really careful with that. And because of that review, it's only made that stronger for me, right? You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
be, you have to be very careful. We
You
all come
do.
here for a reason. We come here to help one another. It's mapped out before we get here, how we go about it. Um, is decided by us. What lessons, but how those lessons are going to come to us is not decided, but how we react,
Oh,
as we
yeah.
all know.
Yeah. Mhm.
But yeah, so I just have a lot of things I just think I could share and help with and whatnot.
Absolutely. Yes.
And with the Reiki, I was so interested when you were saying that you were taking your Reiki, and I was wanting to ask you questions about it. I was wanting to know, one, how you're liking it, and are you experimenting with it more and more on with yourself? Are you
Somewhat,
learning
yes. I
somewhat?
am. I, of course, I'm only Reiki 1, which is more for myself, right? And
Okay,
then
yeah,
Reiki 2
yeah,
is to give out to other people
right.
more. Yeah, okay. I had noticed was what really interesting was I noticed certainly more of a spring in my step. Um, and when I felt really low, I guess, or not feeling the best. And actually, it's helped me a great deal with this house situation. It's
Keeping
made me a
calm.
lot
Yeah,
calmer.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I have found, like, because when I took my Reiki and whatnot, like, it's almost 20 years ago now, and
Uh-huh.
I'm a really lucky person throughout my life because I've had so many good teachers.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um, for one, starting with my mom. My mom was a nurse, and my mom was my best friend. She was just
Oh.
awesome.
Uh-huh.
But when I was in the field, I was a nurse's aide or PCA, personal care attendant, for my whole
Mhm.
career. The nurses, the RNs and whatnot, they really took a like to me because I like to learn,
Uh-huh.
and I was a very hands-on kind of person.
Mhm.
So they taught me so much, and
Ooh.
things that you would not like. I used to do things that most PCAs never do, and definitely wouldn't be doing today.
Right.
But back then,
Sure.
back
Uh-huh.
then we learned a lot. So I've had a lot of good teachers throughout my life, and with the Reiki, I had the Reiki master I had was incredible, and her lineage line for learning it was a very shortened one. Like, it wasn't. And at that time, you had to, if you were going to teach or if you were going to do any kind of Reiki on people, you had to be certified within
Uh-huh.
the certified through Alberta and whatnot. And now
Okay.
you had to pay a fortune to have your thing put in there too, right? But there was always insurance things. Like, I used to carry insurance and whatnot because people will say different things, like if they
Yes,
can,
they will.
you know.
Yes.
So yeah, I always carried insurance and stuff like that. But I
Uh-huh.
got it mostly because of the work I did. I did a lot of palliative care, and
Okay.
I love palliative care.
Yeah.
And I always thought it would help. But like, I did a lot of different other things, like Touch for Health and all different kinds of alternative healing things. But
Uh-huh.
with those, I found they're working with my energy,
Mhm.
so that's limited, right?
Right.
Not to
Right.
mention, I'm not always healthy, so I have my blocks and stuff like that too, right? So it's not always the strongest or the best. But with
Mhm.
Reiki, it's not ours, right?
Correct. That's the
So we're
best
just
part.
a vessel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's unlimited to where it's going to go and what it can do. We can't say for sure what it's going to do, because if it's
Right.
meant to do, it will.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, we have to be careful what we say to people when we do it, but at the same time, I really don't know
Right. Yeah, I know.
how this will
It's
go for each person, right?
because everybody's so different. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've learned too, as practicing with it through the years, just on myself and whatnot, how you will connect different parts of your body and stuff like that. It's always interesting to me. Like, if
Uh-huh.
when you don't get an eye twitch every now and again, you know how your eye will twitch and
Yeah.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
It took me the longest time to figure out how to stop that, because it drives me crazy with it. Doesn't and if I go right here on the back of my head, it will
Uh-huh.
instantly stop an eye twitch and things like that.
Really?
So I play around with mine. I just like to
Oh,
feel the connectivity. Or
yeah.
if I'm doing Reiki in here, sometimes my ears will drain. So everything is connected where you wouldn't think it would connect, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
and I also learned, here's a tip. You were
Okay.
telling me your husband's a chiropractor
Yeah.
and that he has healing hands and whatnot. I've learned, by just because I've had my hip and all kinds of things like that. Reiki, sometimes it takes a little while for it to start going through, and you have to move around to different locations sometimes to get, if people are blocking or if they've got blocks in
Right.
their chakras and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But if your shoulder is bothering you, if you actually move that, if you're doing Reiki with that person, if you can get them just to move it to a spot that's uncomfortable, that hurts, then put your hand on, boom, that Reiki is going to kick in right now, and they're going to get nothing but heat in there. And when people say, I've heard people say all the time that their hands get really, really hot. My
Mhm.
hands, your hands will get really, really hot when you're around somebody that needs Reiki.
Oh.
Or, yes. And the way that I have had to learn to do is you can put your hands in cold water, and you can, like before I do Reiki and after I do Reiki, I always do a hand wash, and I throw it
Uh-huh.
back to the water.
Yeah. Yep.
And when I do Reiki, I always make sure I have a plant or a candle lit to
Right.
throw that energy to.
Two. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I see people sometimes they just throw it to the air and that, but if you actually throw it to,
To another living thing, or yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and plants love Reiki,
Plants
so you
love it.
throw that
Okay.
energy to them,
Uh-huh.
or you can put your hands on people if they'll let you.
Right.
That, the other thing is people say you don't touch them. I do sometimes. I'm a hands-on kind of person because of the
Yeah.
field that I
I
was in.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll do
Yeah.
both. If they're not comfortable with my hands on them, I'll do above and whatnot. But I tend to like to. But that's what I mean. As you go along, you're going to learn more and more about
Learn
it.
more about your own personal way of
Yeah,
doing
and by
things,
just
and
doing
yeah,
it on yourself.
yeah, how it works
Yeah. Yeah.
on you. Is there ever a situation where you might, or any Reiki person might bring in their energy? And
No,
no, okay,
no.
okay. I know that it's always out, it's coming
Yeah.
out, and
No,
okay,
I have
all right.
myself like, but before I start Reiki, my spirit team, I do the same with my mediumship or anything like that.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
have one guide that I ask to please make sure to keep my ego out of it, my fears, my everything.
Girl.
Just
Yeah,
remove me from the whole thing if you
right.
can,
I'm
because
just a vessel.
that's the biggest job.
Sure.
And I feel sorry for that guy because he's got the hard work, right? Because I will slip back and forth into that one. So
Uh-huh.
I do the same with the Reiki
Okay.
before I even start Reiki. When I'm calling in spirit and just help me be open to receiving,
Yep.
helping the client to be open to receiving, and making us all comfortable, right?
Making us
And
comfortable.
leaving
Yeah.
me completely out of it. They're going to anyway, but I feel I need to say that because I
Well,
like,
yeah, and it isn't you that's doing it, it's coming through
yeah,
you, and so there's
and
the ego
it's
gone
only
anyway. Yep,
it's going to go where it needs to go.
that's right. You're the
It's only
vessel.
going to take to people that want it taken.
Yep,
You know how they say you shouldn't, you should get permission when and you should
right.
before you send it, but really it's not going to go to them if they're not going to accept it anyway.
Okay, okay. But
So
it's
it's,
always nice to try to get it if you
yes,
can. Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
wouldn't want anybody doing any kind of hocus pocus anything
All
on
right,
me.
I
Just
understand.
don't ask them.
Yeah, yeah, I
It's not
do.
hocus pocus, but
It's
you know
not
what
a
I mean.
hocus pocus. No, I know it isn't. In a way, it's a lot of, if you think about it, it's a lot of other things in spirituality, including card reading, mediumship, so on and so forth. You're just the vessel. You're just giving the message. You're not
Exactly.
making up the message. You're not,
Exactly. You're not
it's not
wanting somebody,
you.
yeah, you're
Right.
not wanting somebody to try and make it fit.
Right.
Or if it
That's right.
doesn't make sense, it's
Yep.
not for you or whatever. It's just to remove myself. I just give the information.
Yep.
If it's for you,
Then
good. If
if it
it's not,
resonates, take it. If not,
yeah,
or take it
yeah.
whatever you
Could be
want. Yeah.
somebody else who's standing next to you. I don't know where it's supposed to go. I only know what I get, right? So,
So how long have you been a Reiki practitioner? Do you remember when
um,
you first got it?
probably 17 years now. I've never taught Reiki.
Okay. Yeah. That's okay.
The reason I have never taught it
Mhm.
was because I was working all the time. I was
Sure.
busy first started.
Yeah.
And like I said, I took it because of my palliative care. And then I
Yep.
wasn't allowed to use it in my palliative care. Now there was a problem for me because now my hands are on
Right.
fire all the time. And
Right.
when I touch people, it's instant.
Yes.
And people feel it instantly and they'll
Yes.
say, "What are you doing?" and I'll be just doing normal care. Like I won't be
Right.
doing Reiki, but the Reiki's coming, right? Like I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
So
Can't really stop that. I mean, it's not,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, I didn't do the Reiki on others like I should have for the
Mhm.
longest time. I'll probably get back into it again
Mhm.
now because I'm not
Yeah.
in that
Right. You're
field
not doing that
anymore.
anymore. Yeah.
But yeah,
Wow. There was a book that was out, I want to say it was when I was in college or something. It's been out for a long, long time, called Therapeutic Touch.
yeah,
And it was done by nurses in
yeah.
palliative care. And I just think to myself, that's probably a lot to do with Reiki, but just not
Oh
really.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, same thing.
exactly. I
Yeah,
agree. And I've
yeah,
always thought that I wish that the medical side, and I think they do more in the States than they do in Canada, but
yeah.
the medical side and the alternative side, I wish they could work more together to get a wholeness
I agree.
for a person's best outcome.
Outcome. Absolutely. I
Yeah,
agree wholeheartedly. I would rather not take medicine if I don't have to. If I have to, I'll
exactly.
do it.
Yeah,
But, I'd rather try the natural if I can.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Let's take just a minute and say hello to some folks who are here to see
No,
you today. We saw some of them earlier, but let's see, I want to shout out to Scott as well again, and Deb, Purple Elephant. We've got,
hello, everybody.
yeah, Viviani's here, and Gerald from Tarot Stash, Craig Dixon.
I feel like these are all my friends. Like it's just,
They are. Isn't
yeah,
it
because
great?
you're out
It
there with them
is.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great to see you all.
Yeah,
Thank you for
Janet.
coming.
Oh, yes. And Scott said he was happy you gave him confirmation about the life review because that's what he thought and that's what he's been told. And what you told him was really awesome, or told
Well,
us. Right?
thank you, Scott. No, it was it was a powerful thing.
I bet. Yep. Angela Cardamancy, Kate is here, and Valerie, and let's see. I'm trying to get Jane the Seeker. I'm glad to see you, dear. Yeah.
Good to see you all. Thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Jane said, you don't, you, I truly believe don't point your finger at me came into something because of energy. So watch where you point your finger. That's
That's a
right,
good point.
Jane.
Yeah,
And we
no,
do
that's
that to our
good.
kids, da da da. We wag a finger, and that, yeah.
I laugh at my dad different times because sometimes with his generation, he has a really hard time understanding me sometimes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what he does is just avoids all of that most of the time. But I kind of like to have fun with him every now and again just to get him stirred up because it's so easy to do.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, I was sitting there one day with him and I said, I just really don't get it, Dad. You're the one that took me to church. You're the one that taught me angels and to talk to God and whatnot. So now I tell you that the angels come and see me and stuff like that. And suddenly you've got a problem with that. Like that was you that did that, not me.
Right. You're the one who told me all about it. What's the matter with you?
Smart enough.
Oh, that's cute. So Kate wonders how you refresh your own energy, Tracy.
Well, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't do it nearly as often as I should.
Mm-hmm.
And but for me, you know how people will put themselves in bubbles and stuff like that? I tend to
Yes.
not do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Not your
not
thing.
my way. But
Mm-hmm.
I do like to for God, I bring in his light. So I call in white light
Mm-hmm.
and it's always laced with gold. But when I do that, our soul's light, like I will visualize my soul's light and I visualize it growing, 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 and it meets up with that light and it just explodes. And I
Yeah.
love to sit in that energy
Yeah.
because and when you're in that energy, you just feel nothing but gratitude. So all kinds of things will run through my mind then of things that have happened or things that I saw or something I might have experienced or just been blessed. Like even just seeing an old couple walking holding hands sometimes. It's just like
Isn't that sweet?
for letting
Yes,
me
I
do that. I needed
understand.
that day or whatever,
Uh-huh.
These things will come up while I'm sitting in that light. And
Yeah.
that does a good thing for me. I also don't do this nearly as often as I should either, is my chakras, but I do smudge.
Okay.
with sage. Sage grows wild here and whatnot, so I pick
Oh,
sage and I dry it out, and I like sage.
I
My
do too.
husband can't stand the smell of it, but
Oh, we can't.
no, but
Yeah.
I do it anyway.
Hmm.
So I
That's
don't know. I
awesome.
just there's always somebody that's having a harder time in life with different things. So
Right.
it's I probably the same way you do, Kate. All the same things you probably do, I do too.
Uh-huh. Yep. And sometimes things work and sometimes they don't,
You
and you
just
have to do
don't.
something else. Yeah. Even
Yeah,
our own rituals, sometimes you
yeah,
feel them more than you do otherwise. Yeah.
yeah. Another thing I would like to do too is with my Reiki,
Uh-huh.
because we tend to forget, like when we say our prayers and stuff. I was raised Catholic, so I used
Okay.
to start my prayers at night when I went to bed and finish them in the morning when I woke up because I'd fall
Uh-huh.
asleep. Wrong. But anyway, when I learned how to do proper prayers since then. I've gone past the big list from a kid, like I wanted this, you know, you
Uh-huh.
don't do all that anymore, but it's mostly about giving thanks now. But still, in heaven, in the divine world, there's still much work being done at all times, right? So
Right.
I sit there sometimes and I just put my hands out and I'll do Reiki to the guides, to the
Mhm.
angels, to the loved ones past. They're all still working.
Yep.
And the second I do that, I don't know if you can feel it right now with your Reiki in you, but my hands are on fire and they're tingling.
Mine are tingling right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
hold it out there and just let it go and send that
Uh-huh.
energy out,
Yep.
I
Yep.
tell you, when you're done that, I don't do that nearly often enough either, but when you're done that, you just feel good. You
You
get
do.
more than you're given, and that is for certain. But I just redirect it back.
Yep. That's the best way to do it anyway. If you redirect it back to them, or
Yeah.
you redirect it to nature.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
definitely do all
because I
that.
really love pulling from nature too. I mean,
Yeah.
nature sustains me when I'm out there. That's the only thing that saved me during the pandemic was every day I would walk for, several miles, really grounded, and it was everything to me was amazing that was around me, and that was such a nice feeling.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a nice feeling.
Do you still walk and
I
go
haven't
outside?
been able to because my feet are all screwed up now from
Oh,
walking.
okay.
I was going
Oh,
7 miles. Yeah, I was going 7 miles a day, and I was going on a lot of hard even though I had the right
surfaces.
shoes on, and I
Right.
ended up with bunions and everything, and so
Right.
it hurts sometimes to walk.
Sometimes to walk.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
that's
joys of
sad.
getting old.
Oh, I know. But yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting, Angela. The oncology unit at the VA hospital in San Antonio recommends Reiki for their patients. That's
Yes.
perfect.
Yes.
Wow. That's awesome.
I heard a girlfriend of mine said to me one time, Trace, turn on the news. So I turned on the news, and she's like, there was um, a specialist out of Calgary,
Uh-huh.
and he was talking. His clientele was all cancer patients and whatnot, but they were last stages cancer, like very.
Right.
And he said that he was saying that people will go out and they will spend their last dollar trying to get treatment and trying to get something to comfort and whatnot. So he has, and I love this about him, he felt a responsibility to go out there and check out some of these things and see what was out there and what he thought might help people and stuff.
Hmm.
And he tried all kinds of different things, but he said Reiki was the one. And he said, and he put half of
Hmm.
his clientele with Reiki as
Hmm.
well as their treatments, their cancer treatments,
Right.
and the other half without. And the ones that were on with the Reiki thing had a much better quality of life
Oh, I bet.
to
Yeah.
the end or to whenever. Like it was calming for them.
Made that much difference. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I just thought, oh, they need to do that more. Like just
I know.
that
I
was
know.
wonderful. Yeah.
It's just trying to convince, like you say, some of these die-hard allopathic
Yeah.
medical people that
I
homeopathic is just as good as
Oh,
as
absolutely.
yeah,
On
yeah,
for a lot of things, just for the
yeah.
overall wellness.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the States is better. The United States is better at introducing this more than they are in Canada. They're a little bit
Well,
slower, I hear, I think.
we were better. We're sort of taking a sort of a turn back, so
Yeah, everybody's
diametrically different
a
than
permanent
before.
retrograde going on.
Oh my! It seems like we've been in that retrograde forever for mindset.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But Scott says, "Yep, nothing better than a tree hug." How true is that?
that is
Absolutely,
true. Or a good
absolutely.
back scratch on the old tree.
So before we came on, we were talking a lot about offering readings
Right.
and so forth on, and you have a channel here, and the channel also tells where to go for your website. She has a website, Tracy
I
Dawn
I
Ralph,
have a
DAW.
website where you can pay for readings, but
Uh-huh.
I've stopped doing readings for quite a while because I was taking Tylenol and stuff like that because of my hip before surgery and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So I won't do readings and stuff like that. Well, if you can't focus properly.
Uh-huh.
But so it's been a while since I've done proper readings and whatnot. So, but I was saying that sometimes I hear people in chat or I see different things like we all do at different times in our life need different. There's the odd person every now and again I sit there and think to myself, I would just love to have them email me. I
Right.
would gladly do a reading for free if I thought I could help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if there's anybody every now and again, if you want to throw me, I'd be happy to. If I can help you, I will. If
That's
if
awesome.
if they won't come through, it won't come through. But you can email me, and I'd
Yeah.
be happy to.
Have a short reading. That would be
Yeah,
wonderful. And I think that I know people need to, make money and live and have an income and so forth and so on, but I also truly always have believed that there are people who need help and that we should be available to them because we were given those gifts
yeah,
and to share. So
I
again,
I agree.
nothing against anybody charging or anything like that for anybody in the chat. I don't want you to think I mean that, but I think it's important for everybody to be able to get it, to be able to have access to it.
Yeah,
And so
no,
I
and
love that, Tracy. That's wonderful.
so
Thank you for that. Yeah,
no problem. That'd be great for me too. So
sure. So, a couple of things you wanted to talk about. We talked a little bit about Reiki. Let's talk about some more about chakras. What would you like to talk about chakras?
ah,
If
just
you're,
how important they are.
uh-huh.
Um,
Do you
um,
know how can you tell when somebody has or when you yourself have a blockage in a chakra? Any ideas or?
Yeah, for me, like if my crown is blocked, like when I close my eyes,
Uh-huh.
I see purples, like lilacly purples all the time.
Yep.
But if I don't see them,
Ah.
I know something's going on up there, right? Or if you're walking around and you're feeling like you're alone in this world, like nobody cares or
Nobody cares. Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
when you're feeling
And we do
salty
once
for
in a
yeah,
while. We do.
every now and again, and sometimes it's welcome, sometimes it's not. But when you're walking around feeling like that, there's another one for me that I would know that my crown is blocked because that's my connection to divine, right? So if I'm not feeling,
Uh-huh.
because then we're never alone, right?
No,
So if
we're
I'm
not.
not feeling them,
Yep. Jane says she has the same. Yep.
yeah,
Same thing.
yeah,
Wow.
just that. To me, I think the importance, the importance, the great idea that all these different people are coming now with different channels. There are so many different things, is because everything is so connected. One
Yes.
one works with the other at all times.
Right.
So you cannot do just parts of anything. You've got
Uh-huh.
to do chakras. You've got to do a little bit of, well, you don't have to do Reiki, I suppose. But if you're doing mediumship and whatnot, your mediumship could develop through your Reiki as well. Because when you
Uh-huh.
put your hands on people, sometimes you sit there and I'll know instinctively where to go
Way to go
besides
with it.
where they may
Yeah.
have said it had to go.
Uh-huh.
Because you will pick up on all these things and it'll surprise you. when you're working with it,
Mm-hmm.
that you'll suddenly know medical things that you should never know. I don't know where I would have learned some of that, but I know it all of a sudden. And I
Uh-huh.
could never explain it, would never even try to, because people
Right.
would just be like, "You're winging that."
I know.
So
And you know
everything,
what? We just have to say, okay, not your path. Goodbye.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But the
It
cards, everything, like your psychic stuff, your intuition, all of it goes hand in hand.
it really does. Yeah.
It does.
And when you're not using it, like for years and years, I was so busy doing stuff to just maintain the status quo, and I didn't use it. I mean, I had a period of time I did, and then I had this sort of, and I didn't get away. I didn't turn away from it on
No,
purpose,
but
so it wasn't
yeah,
that. But when I finally got to use it again, it was like, oh, I'm
yeah,
home. I've got.
yeah.
I feel like I'm
Well, and that's
finally
the other
doing
thing. We're
something
always learning so many different things. So that
right.
some things like my Reiki now, I have to start pulling out my books and notes and stuff again because it's been a long time. And it's
Right.
being brought back up now by being on this channel and listening to people and stuff like that, right?
Uh-huh.
Because
Yeah.
there is a lot of tips. The fact that I had such great teachers in my
Yes,
life,
that's helpful.
I'm very blessed.
Yeah.
So I always think to myself, well, what good is it if you don't share what they shared?
Right.
I was fortunate enough to get it from them
Uh-huh.
because
Yeah.
you got to carry it on, right?
You
Just
got to carry it
lots of
on. Yeah.
different
It's a,
tips.
it's a gift, but it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. And when I was saying, yes, exactly. When
Yeah.
I was saying earlier how your hands get wet or hot and whatnot, that's only when Reiki's not flowing through a person's thing. So if I go to,
Oh,
my
okay.
hands will initially get hot,
Mm-hmm.
or right now they're tingling. But
Mm-hmm.
if I put my hands on somebody and it starts to flow, my hands no longer stay hot. They get
Right.
hot.
They're getting the
They get
heat.
hot inside and whatnot. That's when you
Yeah.
know that the Reiki's moving the way it should. And they always say to me, "Your hands are so hot." And I'll tell them, "Feel my hands. My
Yeah.
hands are not hot. That's the Reiki. That's
That's the
not
Reiki.
me." And I
And
think people
yeah,
know instantly if they feel Reiki, they know that's not coming from me because I'm not that powerful. None of
you're
us,
not that powerful.
I can say none of us.
Well, you
Somebody would
are, but
say,
yeah, I know what you're
yeah,
saying. You're
that's
getting
not
assistance.
mine.
You're getting
Yeah,
assistance. Yeah. That's what I felt. I mean, I feel when people have done distance Reiki on me, I can feel it in different ways.
yeah,
But when I stood in front of a woman doing it,
totally
as I
different.
explained to you, it was amazing.
It
The
is.
wash of heat that came
Oh,
across. I was, wow. I mean, it was,
yeah. The Reiki master that taught me my masters and whatnot, she, her and I would we would have a group of people and stuff like that. When her and I were in front of each other or around each other, her stomach, you know how you hear the water churning in your bellies
yes.
and stuff like that? Hers would do that and mine do that every time we
Oh,
came close to each other's energy.
really?
Like it was the weirdest thing, but it was embarrassing because it was quite loud
Oh, I
too. It'd
know.
be like, God,
I
you
have
go
that
over
happen
there, I'm
sometimes.
going to stay over here.
Face to face class, I'll have it, and my stomach go, "Whoa," and I'll say, "Sorry, guys, I'm hungry." What can I
Yeah,
say?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's good stuff.
It's like the
Yeah.
lady that was on last Monday. I think it was Monday or Tuesday, and Louise she does the light language channeling, and she's doing so much breathing in and out and everything that she's burping, and she's saying, this happens when I do this, and it's a way of letting go. And I thought to myself, wow, she was amazing. The things she
Yeah.
could bring through
Oh,
herself.
yeah. Some
Yeah.
this lady was powerful too.
Yeah.
And in fact, when I took my master's thing, she had she's traveled the world and stuff like that, and she did Reiki and taught Reiki in different parts of the world. And
Hmm.
she was in Peru, and she had taught and did Reiki while she was there for a little while. But when I did my master's, there was a woman that came from Peru all the way here to Alberta just to learn her master's from this,
Really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
like
Wow.
she was powerful. She was
Uh-huh.
amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, Jane, you're right. The gut is the second brain. because we always say, I just got a gut feeling about something too. But
yes.
She says that your brains were communicating. That's a good point.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I
Pierrette
wanted
has. Oh, go ahead.
sorry. I was going to say one other thing with. Oh no, we'll carry on. That's good.
Okay.
I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. That happens to me all the
No,
time. Please tell, if you remember, please tell me. And
I'm a double air sign, so I'm a bit of an airhead. So I go.
Well, I am too. I mean, I'm a Libra with Aquarius in there somewhere, and yeah.
I'm Aquarius with Gemini, so.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. If you are in a group, do your hands activate, like hold space? She says her hands get like she has boxing gloves on.
Yes.
Really?
And if you can feel like when you're charged, it's always this. We all know this little thing that you can do just to ball it,
like
feel
you're
it.
holding a ball,
But
right?
when you start to feel it, just as to how, like right now, I can feel mine this far out. Wow. I don't know. I could probably go farther, but I don't know. I guess there's a lot of people out there that need some Reiki. I don't know. Maybe, but I'm
actually, yes. We've got Butterfly Kisses healing.
He's going for surgery right away.
Yeah. And welcomes healing today. Thanks, Andrea. So we could do a little bit of a healing on her today.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just sending
lots of love and light to her.
Yeah, she's one that would accept it. She said before that she'd go ahead and send.
And she's a energy healer herself in a different tradition, I believe. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know that when you do Reiki, I don't know if we were live when we were talking about this, but it's good to keep a plant or
yeah, you did say that, and that I agree with that. Yeah.
To throw that energy too.
Throw the energy too. It's like a lot of people they drink water with an amethyst or rose quartz or something in it, and they say if you have any left over, right? If you have any left over, put it in the plant. Yeah, because that transfers. Yeah.
No.
So Valerie said, any chance Reiki helps with quitting bad habits like smoking?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I've quit. I've been quit smoking now for 1 month. And I do. When I start to feel anxious and whatnot, I just go lay in the bed for a minute and I do Reiki on myself and calm myself down again. And but they say for changing habits and whatnot, to do Reiki would be to have one hand in the front of your lobe and one hand in the back of your lobe, and bringing that one in. And so just working with that apparently is supposed to
help you transmute that.
Yeah, like in here is your immune system, right? So anywhere you go up in your neck and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
But another thing that I have trouble with, like with the sending Reiki to people and whatnot, I personally had Reiki done on me by this Reiki master, and I had it was an emotional block. But I had this real pain, and it was in my back, I mean, from my chest.
Yeah.
And she kept saying to me, "Let it go, Tracy, let it go." And I would let parts of it go, but I wasn't ready to let it all go. But it was my mom. My mom had passed, so I was just not completely ready to let go. But for a week, that hurt. That area hurt because I never did let it all
go completely.
But luckily, I could go over to her, right? Like she was 30 minutes away, so I could go. Gail, we got to work on this. Till she got it out, right? Till it got it freed out. So Reiki is powerful. So I just don't know, unless you can talk a person through it. Like a person, sometimes they think when you tell them to let go, they think that, for me personally, that to let go is to say, then they're gone from your life forever.
Right,
And
right. That's
and
not
that's
the
not
point.
the case. It's bringing
Yeah.
them back in, right?
Uh-huh.
But
Yep. Yep.
and how to talk people through it, how to so you can break that block.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Valerie said that, and there is something final, the word that comes up with that word, like you say, to let it go. There's
Yeah.
something final about that we're
Yeah.
not prepared to take. But yes, you're absolutely right. It isn't
One
to.
thing that works for me that I learned I I don't want to let go of stuff sometimes, right? So what I do is I'll say, I'm ready to release. Like I'll say, let it go. And I say, thank you for the lessons. I
Yep.
send it with love
Yep.
to become positive again. Then I can let it go
Mm-hmm.
sometimes a
Mm-hmm.
little easier. I just don't want to throw crap out that I might still need. But if it's going, but if it's going to a
There's a lot of
better
people that
home,
feel that way.
if it's going to a better home and going to get where it needs
Right.
to be healthy again,
Right. Right. I
like,
love that, because that's really a metaphor for us getting rid of stuff too, physical
yeah,
stuff. I
yeah,
got to clean my closet out or whatever. And,
exactly.
even though it's going to
Yeah,
benefit me because I'll have more room for other things to come in.
yes.
We don't want, when it
Just
comes to
we're
relationships.
comfortable with pain sometimes, and
Isn't
it's
it
absurd,
crazy?
but we are, and it's
I know.
yeah.
I know.
So if we look
It,
at it like how one man's garbage is another one's treasure, maybe go to another home that maybe needs it and it's going to give it new life or whatever. Like,
right.
okay,
Right.
you need it more than I do. You can have it. Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of how I
Yeah, I understand.
throw stuff out.
When my mom died, she died unexpectedly, dropped dead at age
Oh,
68. I was in
wow.
college. It was really awful. And I gained 100 pounds in the year after that,
Yeah. No,
because that's
it's
the way I processed
yes,
that.
it's a
Yeah,
devastating thing. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
I
a
wanted
hard
to
one.
pad myself from all that pain, I guess.
Yeah.
It took me forever to get over that, but
My mom died of AIDS.
oh
My
my
mom
God.
had my mom was 56 years old and she had two open heart surgeries. She had the first one at 50 and the second one at 53 or 54. But with her first one, she received tainted blood and whatnot. So
Yeah.
it, she turned out to be a spokesperson for AIDS one night, but she was a nurse as well. So she was just an
Wow.
inspirational person. Like
Yeah.
so
Sounds like
the fact that she got so sick,
Yep.
that was so hard for me to accept. I was so
Sure.
angry for a long time inside
Yep. Yep.
about the whole thing. So,
Yep.
but at the
And
same time, I would never have let her go if she hadn't have been so sick
I know.
in my
I
mind, right? I couldn't have done it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, no, life's
Wow.
a lesson.
What a legacy. I'm sorry. She almost had taken her healing to a whole different level, if you think about it, and
Oh,
to
my
heal people. Yeah.
she never ever blamed anybody. She was never bitter. She was never. In fact,
Wow.
she used to go like she had to go to Vancouver for certain specialists and stuff like that. And
Uh-huh.
while she was there was so many people that were gay people and whatnot that had AIDS and stuff like that that were there alone and lost and terrified. That
Hmm.
was the most upsetting thing for my mom.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Like it was just so she became a spokesperson. She when she passed, she was actually in the news and whatnot. It was on the yeah. So she's
Wow.
a great
Well,
person.
I don't care how long ago that was. It's still,
Oh,
as a matter of fact, today's my mother's birthday. She's dead, of course, but she would have been
aw.
102,
Isn't that
But
fitting that we would have
I
this
know.
conversation today? Happy
I
birthday to
know,
your
it's
mom.
perfect, really. She died 5 days after her 68th birthday,
Wow.
and, she's been gone longer than she was with me, because I
Okay.
was 33 when she died, and she's been gone 34 years. But you know what? She's always here. She's
Oh, yeah,
always here.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah,
yeah.
grief does crazy things, Kate. You're right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Um, so let's talk a little bit about mediumship. Let's talk about that. You had
Okay,
that on
sorry.
your list? Yeah.
Okay, for me with my mediumship, when
Mhm.
like I took a lot of courses. I've done a lot of workshops, done a lot of courses before
Good.
taking the mediumship program, right? And
Uh-huh.
this mediumship program is a very huge one. Like it was very long, it was very big, and
Uh-huh.
it went into missing persons cases that were solved. And
Oh.
And I tell you, you learn really quickly. So I was going to say with people, I don't know if I buy into a lot of people. Everybody says that everybody's a medium. I don't know that I buy into that.
I think everybody has psychic gifts, but I don't think
I
that
agree.
everybody's a medium.
Everybody has psychic gifts
Yeah,
for sure, and
yeah,
some stronger than others,
yeah.
and because they've worked with
Uh-huh.
it more, and some just naturally.
Yeah.
And if everybody does have mediumship in them, it's not for everybody to work with. But
Yeah.
before a person goes into these programs and stuff like that, you really have to be aware of what can occur with that. Like for me, when I was
Mhm.
doing the missing persons cases one night, and you only had the first name, that's it. That's all I got. And I went with that. And I would write down everything that's usually
Sure.
how I do it. I write down everything that I would get with that. But I would, for me, mediumship, I see people
Mhm.
in my mind's eye. Like I see them. And I would see how they were murdered, or like with one time, my head, the back of my head, and I kept hearing this, like my head was going. It was like your heartbeat in your ears, like a boom, boom,
Right.
boom, but
Okay.
it was really loud, and I thought it had to be outside of me. That's
Uh-huh.
how strong it
That's how
was.
loud it was. Yeah.
That I walked over to my furnace just because I thought something was wrong with the furnace. And then I realized it's my head. It's gonna feels like it's gonna explode, right?
Wow.
But then as soon as I caught on to what it was, I knew somebody had been hit from the back of their head.
Right.
As soon as you get it, it seems like forever and it's painful. But the second
Mhm.
you get it, it's gone. Like you don't
Oh.
feel that anymore. They so for me anyway, that's how it
Mhm.
works.
Right.
Or I had another one that a daughter was concerned because she thought her mother had committed suicide. She
Mhm.
hadn't committed suicide, but she took responsibility for her own passing. But I could, she had taken something and didn't. She was a drug user. She
Okay.
didn't mean to take as much as
To
she took.
overdose. Right.
I ran into the bathroom because I thought I was going to throw up when I was doing that, right? And when I brought that one through, and as soon as and sweaty and cold, and the second that I realized that she had taken something that was not great, it didn't go right in her. That feeling is gone.
Uh-huh.
So you have to learn these things. It can be really, really powerful. So you want to really know before you go into that. You want to be making sure you have a really good connection with your spirit team, your
Right.
guides, your angels, your light, your
Sure.
energy, and grounding. I had through an attunement done with my Reiki.
Mhm.
People are going to think I'm BSing when I tell this story, but it's the truth. I swear it's the truth. I don't know what part of me she was working on, and I was sitting outside on a chair and had my feet on the ground and just took grounding to a whole new level for me. But she was
Mhm.
I must have had a real block in my root chakra because
Okay.
it shot out like a fireball. It felt like a fireball shot out my butt. I'm not
Oh,
joking.
wow.
And it went
Hmm.
deep into the earth, and when it did that, I can still hear all the breaking of the rock and the crackling, and I can feel all the different temperatures of the earth, like cool, warm, hot, and it just was a
Oh,
lightning
wow.
speed down to the center of the earth, and then boom, when it hit the center of the earth, I got this vision, and
Ooh.
it was a native man in a canoe coming into a cove, a bay thing, and he had a high wall
Yep.
on the one side of him,
Yep.
and then over on this side of him was like a three-leveled thing when it had trees on it. It was like the trees were beckoning him. But
Uh-huh.
now there was a waterfall at the top of these three layers, and at the top of that was an angel at the
Oh,
top.
wow.
And in his canoe, up alongside him, uh, a whale came up alongside him, and he put his hand on top of this whale, and that native man was me. And I could still feel that cold, wet, leathery feel of that. But it was for me because I'm in the clouds, I'm in the divine
Yep.
a lot,
Yep.
and I have a hard time being rooted.
Yep.
So for me, it brought heaven and earth together. It was like a
Together
big
for you.
bang for me, right? So yeah. So
That is
when I ground myself now, I sit there and I think to myself, how far am I going to go
How
this
far
time?
are we going to go
I've
today?
only had that experience once where it was, and I had
Uh-huh.
a client that I used to go to. Am I talking too much? I'm sorry if
No,
I
you're
am.
not talking too much. I love this. No,
Okay.
no, no.
I had a client at home care, and I used to go do respites at her house, and she was just a few doors down from me.
Uh-huh.
And well, her daughter ran out and did groceries and all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and this little lady, she was adorable. But after I'd do her bath and stuff, she often had a little snooze. So when she'd have a snooze, I would take a book to read, right? But I
Uh-huh.
never read the book. I carried the same damn book with me for I don't know how many months, right? And then
Yeah.
this one day I was sitting there reading it, and somewhere in there, like I never did finish the book because it was a complicated book. But somewhere in there, like I was reading this one paragraph, and it was like she was describing a grounding that shot a fireball out her butt and going deep into the. And I sat there. It was like nobody is ever going to believe that ever happened to me, and that.
That other
But
person did.
yeah,
You
I'm
carried
not
that
alone
book
with
with
that.
you because you needed that validation. And when you were
Yeah,
ready for the
I guess
validation,
it
you
was
got it.
like wow.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing. That's wonderful. I love
yeah,
that. I do. I love that. So here is what I wonder. And I don't know that we have an answer for it, but you said that once you recognize, like you saw the person or you whatever it is, don't you think at that point we put our thinking brain into it because we're like at the point of knowing some information and then we lose whatever it is, it goes away? Because that has happened to me when I have been, let's say, in a quasi meditative state and I'm seeing something and then I'm like, wonder why that it's gone. Does
yes.
that?
You
Yeah,
have to, you really do try to practice to have your guides keep you completely
out of it. Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
it, because that
Right.
will stop it in a heartbeat, right?
It will. It will
And
because
you
yeah.
can make arrangements with your guides and with your angels and stuff, and that's another really important thing. If you go to my video that I have on your welcoming, I
Okay.
talked a little bit about that, but it's I learned to do a thing up with spirit, and it was rules for spirit and I to follow because
Mhm.
I spook easy. I'm not
Uh-huh.
a
Uh-huh. I
I don't
know.
go into
I do
dark
too.
places. I don't like I'm not
Mhm.
into that sort of thing. So
Right.
I wrote in there things that you I want, like, don't show me a murder and not show me all of it. If it's not going to do any good, show me everything that needs to be seen, said, or whatnot.
Yeah.
But to do it in a way that's not frightening. And somehow they managed to do it.
That's
Like,
wonderful.
I think it's because, like, one woman that was murdered, she came through for me really clearly, and she told me at any time if ever I was working on another one, she would gladly help me.
Mhm.
But I
Mhm.
think because I could feel her energy and it was no longer in that place, it
Right.
wasn't it
It was
wasn't
yeah.
a horrific. I mean, it was horrific, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't overwhelming, and it wasn't. I didn't come out of it messed up.
Right,
Kind of,
right, right.
and
So
spirit does happen to
you're
me.
not going into like a remote view of the killer or anything. You're just
No, I'm.
observing like a fly on the wall.
It's in my
Yeah.
head. It's in my.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. But again, you're outside of any body, if you know
Yeah,
what I mean. Yeah,
yeah,
you're just watching. It's like a movie you're
yes,
watching. Yeah.
yes. And that, by the way, that brings up another thing. You know how they say you get a. I've only had this happen to me once in my life, but you know how they say you get a little film clip, like a movie clip, like you'll.
Uh-huh.
I had that happen once, and it was really fast. It was like past, present, and future, and it went
Okay.
really, really fast. And what came of it never happened yet. So I keep thinking, because the end of it
Oh,
was wonderful. Like it was like a lot of money all of a sudden. It was like boom, and my
there you
family was all
go.
mad at me. But it was I've
Uh-huh.
never had that happen before. It was
Right.
I still don't know what that was, but yeah,
Well, my husband in the early 70s, he had like a, I don't know, it was a vision, I guess. And he
yeah,
saw cars that were tiny cars and he saw them along a street, parked along a street, and what they are is the cars we have today. But he saw that, just a fast clip of that, like a
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
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 It
It's
is
awesome.
pretty
Yeah.
fascinating.
Uh-huh.
I also
Um,
find that we have tunnels in our eyes.
ooh.
And if I look into a mirror and whatnot, and if I can stay in that, you can see, especially with one eye with me, I can, and and the reason I even started noticing that is because on 2 different times in my life, I've had a person out of the blue say to me, "Do you know that you have a pathway, a tunnel in your eye?" Like they just stare at
Wow.
me, right?
Yeah.
And, and so you can see little, and I often wonder, where does that go? But
Well,
it would be
when you
my
said it,
goal.
the minute you said it, though, I was thinking of how people say they go down a tunnel.
Yeah,
And so, we hold all our memories here. And if you're
yeah,
thinking
that could
maybe you're
be.
going internally and that's why you
Yeah,
see all that. Wow.
so I
That's
don't know.
fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah,
The other thing that I think is really something that just should be mentioned to people, and they probably have had this too, is that when we have a really cool spiritual experience that blows the doors off of us, then we think we want to go back and have that experience again. Well, when
again.
is that going to happen again? And it doesn't
Yeah,
always happen again.
no, no.
Yeah.
And you know what? When I started working, like I used to have stuff happening all the time, like weirdly stuff. And then when I started working with my mediumship,
Uh-huh.
that stuff stopped. Because
Really?
now I've given different rules and blah, 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 and people don't just drop in and as quickly as they used to and stuff like that. And
Okay.
I was heartbroken by that for a while. I didn't realize I would miss that, but I
Because you
did.
cut
But
off that.
it's
Okay.
only where I'm at in my growth. I'm
Right.
sure other mediums don't have that. I'm sure that their
Yeah.
stuff is
No.
still all coming the way. I think
Yeah.
mine's just working. I'm growing is
You're
what it
growing.
is. So,
Absolutely.
as we all
Absolutely.
are. Like,
As we all are. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. That's fabulous. So you do also do medium readings as
That's
well.
the only readings I do is a mediumship reading. And with my
Okay.
mediumship readings, uh, I would get psychic. Here's an example for me. It confused the crap out of me. I had one, I was doing it at my table. I had two sisters that had come from Calgary for a
Okay.
reading. And they were sitting here, and their mom and dad came in together really clearly.
Uh-huh.
And they communicated with me telepathy, as all of them do. I hear
Mm-hmm.
that way. But so they were here, and then down here was a young man
Okay.
standing there, and he had his hands in his pockets in his jeans one night, and he was not speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So I was getting messages from this couple and whatnot, and I kept looking over to this other one, and I was trying to get him to speak to me,
Mm-hmm.
and he wouldn't. So I had to go. Here's where your psychic side comes into your mediumship.
Sure.
I had to go into his energy and read him.
Uh-huh.
That man was still alive. He was still on the earth plane.
Okay. Okay.
This is why we weren't communicating.
Right.
So I use my psychic side to pull out he's depressed, he's this, that, and who
I
he is.
get you. Yeah. You can communicate if someone's higher self wants to talk to you, though. You could communicate with that.
I've never done that, but
Oh,
I'm
you
sure
haven't?
I can't see why
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I think Susan
I've had
has.
different
Yeah.
readings though. I've had like you can't like if I was doing one for you and you gave me your mom's name, say you wanted to hear from your mom.
Mm-hmm.
If you just gave me her first name, I would go with that and see what I get. But it might not be who comes in. We can't
Right.
promise who's going to come in, right? It's
Right. Yeah.
whatever message you are supposed to hear at that time is what's going to come.
That's what's going to
So I
come in.
have had the odd one that was just a guide's reading. Their
Okay.
guides have come through and they're giving because there was work that needed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't what they came for.
Right. Right.
I'm sure they probably left feeling this. Me, you know,
I
we
know,
already
but
knew that, but
you can't make people come through, and
no.
you're only doing for what's the highest good of that person at that time.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
absolutely. So yes, Blessed 1111 lives in Calgary. How about
Well,
that?
hello.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
I know. Well, I think that a lot of people that are here have are going to go over and check out your channel and
I
look at,
hope you do.
and you need to be doing more shows, and you need to, because
Yes,
you're
I'm going to be putting more
fabulous.
videos up now that I'm
Good.
starting to feel better and all that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, because you're fabulous, and you need to share with us all,
I
because
do recommend my welcome video.
okay,
If
your
anybody
welcome
wants to
video.
watch that, that's a good one. The
Okay,
chakra one, I'm not as impressed by because I was getting ready for surgery and I was trying to get it in before I went and I
before you
didn't
went.
put the
Yeah.
time into it that I should have.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not. It's still good, but it's not.
I,
But
just
the
not,
welcome
you don't,
one,
not your best side
no.
or
And I
something.
do have a gem collection thing that I do,
Oh,
and it's I make jewelry.
oh, wonderful.
I make crystal jewelry like this one I'm wearing. This is the blue apatite and whatnot.
Oh, look at that.
And I am
What
going
is it
to.
wrapped in? What is it wrapped in? Silver?
This is clay.
It's clay.
It's hard as rock.
Ooh,
It's clay. It's silvery. It's gray.
I
But it
love
looks like. But that because I'm an artistic person,
that. Uh-huh.
so I like to do like leaves and things. So there's a quick little video
Okay.
on my channel thing there that has some of the ones that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
Just a second, I'm just trying to show you one here that
Oh no,
I've
take your
got like
time.
100 and some that I've made.
Oh
I have
my.
not put any up for sale yet. I don't know when I will.
Uh-huh.
It's trying to.
Sometimes it's hard to give away things that you've put your heart and soul into. You know,
Well,
you
well, yeah, it's
yeah.
cataloging everything. Cause see,
Yes,
everything's
true.
really. I got to
Yeah.
put everything in. I don't know if you can see that in
Ooh.
wrappers and stuff.
Oh,
There's
that's
a light
beautiful.
on there.
Is that amber or
That
citrine?
no, it looks amber, but it's citrine.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's one I need to show
It's
you.
gorgeous. No, I was telling
This
everybody
one's
that
this
I'm
is a Super 7.
oh, really? I have some of
Yeah.
that, but not wrapped, of course.
Just a minute.
Wow.
I gotta put my glasses on for this
That's
second.
okay.
I'll try to put it in the light there. I don't know if you can see
Ooh.
that very good. But it's in hands. It's being held by hands.
Uh-huh.
A little hands.
Yeah.
But
Beautiful.
these are changeable. Like you can adjust, make them longer or tighter.
Yep.
I
Yep.
do that little thing on them. Yeah.
Valerie said maybe that's your vision, that you'll make money with that here on YouTube. You never know.
One day if I ever put them up for sale. But then but I'm fancy with them too because I just show you guys this, and then I'll stop. So each one of them, I've got them numbered so that I do
Yeah.
a little
Ooh,
thing for them, and inside of
beautiful.
them, each
Uh-huh.
one it tells you all about the crystal and how you would use it and all the rest of that and what energies it would have and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. And
Very nice. I love that you use clay. I don't know that I've seen anybody use clay. I've seen them
people
use
don't
like,
know it's clay because it
yeah.
doesn't look like clay.
No,
But with
right.
clay,
Yeah.
you can get more. Here, let's see if I can.
You can get more of the stone.
Well, you
Because you
can
can
get
just,
see. I don't know if you
yeah,
can see the leaves and stuff. I make.
that's beautiful.
Oh,
Oh.
that's terrible. That's not
Is it
doing any
must be,
justice.
that looks fairly heavy. Is it heavy?
This one is.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
aren't usually. They aren't
Yeah.
usually this
Apatite
heavy, but
usually is
apatite,
nice. Yeah.
blue
Yeah.
apatite is quite a heavy stone, right?
It
So,
is. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, no, they're not as a rule very heavy.
That's awesome. Wow.
Anyway,
Well,
that's that.
thank you. Thank you so much. We're a little over an hour,
Oh,
so we're gonna.
sorry.
No. We can go further if you have something else
Oh
you want to
no,
talk
no,
about.
no, no.
No? Okay.
Just
See how
I'm
fast
really
it
good.
goes, Tracy? See how fast?
Thank you so much, Allie.
You're
You were
most welcome.
wonderful.
That's you come back anytime. I
Well,
really enjoyed it, and
thank
I think the
you.
people did too. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'll
Thank
say
you
goodbye to
everybody for
everybody.
being here. Bye
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody. Thank
I'll see
you.
you in the chat